Welcome to this week's video where I discuss what I believe individual investors should be considering over the next 5 to 10 business days when they make their investment decisions. I'm going to address where the markets have been over the first 6 months of the year, how have they performed, and why that's important going forward. I will also discuss how you should be investing money when markets are at all-time highs. And lastly, diversification. Why is it important, especially right now when markets are where they are? North American stock markets have had a fantastic start to the year. Over the first 6 months of the year, we're looking at double-digit gains for all major indices right across the board. TSX up 16%, S&P 500 up 16%, the Dow and Nasdaq up about 13.5%. Now, why is this important? Well, I think it's very important for investor expectations. A lot of individual investors have asked me, going forward, do I expect the same types of returns in the second half of the year? And the answer very simply is no, I do not. I think expectations should be tapered down a little bit. I think due to seasonal factors, I think due to the markets being at all-time highs and kind of slowing down over the second half, I look for continued growth, but at a much slower pace. So at the end of the year, when you're ready to ring in the new year, do I think the markets are higher than they are today? I do, but not as much as they were in the first half for 2021. Recently, I was asked, how do I manage money when markets are at all-time highs? Do I start selling off, taking profits, and moving money into cash? Or do I let things ride? Well, I guess my answer is none of the above, actually. What I like to do is I do like to trim profits whenever I can, but keep money in the market. Moving money from perhaps some of the higher flyers, some of the names that have made quite a bit of return for individual investors over the first half, and maybe move that money into other names. Some of the names that haven't moved as yet. And there are quite a few of them. Don't kid yourself. So what I like to do and what I tell my individual investors is stay in this market. Enjoy the ride. It's not often we see markets continuing to move higher at all-time highs while we see central banks sitting on their hands, not raising interest rates as they are currently. Enjoy the ride. Be in this market. Stay in this market. But be wise. Do not be greedy. Trim those profits when you can and just continue to move assets or move cash into other names that haven't experienced the gains that some names have had so far this year. Diversification. It's a word we all know, and we all know we need to have it within our portfolios. But recently I've been asked, Alan, why do I own this healthcare stock when I could be buying more tech, which is going up a lot more than healthcare? Or why do I own this retail name when I could be owning something different that has had better performance? Well, the answer to that is diversification. I look at all my portfolios that I help manage as a jigsaw puzzle, fitting in different pieces to that jigsaw puzzle as we move along. And so yes, right now, maybe the name you own is not in favor as much as another sector or another name. But I can tell you that if we start to move assets or cash all into one area, like technology, for example, and tech were to sell off, let's say 5 to 10%, that individual investor will be hit pretty hard. Whereas if you own a mix of assets, some tech, some healthcare, some energy, some retail, etc., I think that is the best way to not only protect your portfolio, but to grow over time. Because as we know, money tends to rotate into areas that have not performed as well as yet. Some of the high flyers, money tends to come out of those names a lot quicker and into some of the names that represent better value. And that's where we want to be. We want to own good value. And to do that, to me, that means diversification. Owning small pieces of different sectors and building a very diverse portfolio is how you will make money going forward. This week's videos are there for all of you to gain some knowledge going forward over the next 5 to 10 business days. I'd love to hear from you. What are you thinking about? What questions do you have on your mind today that I can help with? Send me a message, give me a call. I'd love to hear from all of you and to understand what you believe is important for your investment dollars.